Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. Hey, this is a collective convo specifically about ego death, okay? It just came to me that we need to talk about how to kill our egos in order to continue growing. Sorry, I got a movie craving on the way home from... Okay, here we go. Movie craving. Alright, so ego deaths are essential to your spiritual growth, your consciousness journey, your decolonizing too. Especially decolonizing, but all of it. So anyway, let's talk about ego death. I think even just the term ego death is pretty triggering for people who have not experienced an ego death. An ego death is just simply when you understand that there are other valid points, perspectives, beliefs, ideas, besides your own, right? That's the premise of a good-ass ego death. Look at the way the sun is shining back here. Ah! The fuck? Hody. Anyway, don't spill. I think the term itself is incredibly triggering. Did I already say this? Yeah, I already said that. Sorry, I got distracted by this fucking race car driver. Okay. Anyway, I think that let me get my computer. A lot of people think that ego is like to have an inflated ego. I think a lot of people have this idea that having an inflated ego or like a big head or whatever, you can call it whatever you want. Didn't I already open one of these for you? Here you go. Careful, don't spill. Do your best. Love you. Shit, I'm sorry we're all over the place. To be expected. I also took a couple of days off because I was binge watching Good Girls. I did something else this morning instead of binge watching so that I could be on here. What was I looking up? Oh yeah. God damn it, what, bro? There's no room for you on this desk. Go find a different spot in this house, please. No, get your tail out of my tea. Yo, I need to have an ego death right now. Ego, oh yeah, Freud. Freud's ego, id. Yeah, let's talk about this. I am not a fan of Freud, but unfortunately the system in which we live does still consider him to be like the dude. Okay, what is the primary difference between the ego and the id? Oh, it's the ID, not the id. Well, I mean, I think we call it id, but I'm pretty sure... Oh, the id. Ego is reality. Oh my god, Freud was so wrong. Why are you screaming? Oh my god, everyone is just going crazy right now. I don't believe that this is... I mean, like I said before, I'm not a Freudian person. The id is your shadow. Sex, food, drink, drugs, now. But see, what they know, the systems that be know, I know we're off topic and there's a lot going on. Sex, food, drugs, drink, now. So the powers that be know that. I've said before and I'll say it again, is to think of the taste buds as the ruling elite. And anything that you do to get that hit of dopamine using your taste buds is the powers that be controlling your entire body, right? And they know this. Ego. I don't agree with this at all. Because he said that the id is basic impulses, sex and aggression, seeking immediate gratification and irrational impulsive, operates at an unconscious level. So that's like So Freud believed that there's the ego, the superego, and the id. I'm just reading it from this. You can Google. Google's free, friends. I'm reading it from this little iceberg. Superego, ideals and morals, striving for perfection, incorporated from parents, becoming person's conscience, operates mostly at a preconscious level. Ego, executive meditating between id and superego inhibitions, testing reality, rational, operates mainly at a conscious level, but also at a preconscious level. I don't agree with any of this. That's why I wanted to look it up. Because most of us work from the idea that Freud, because that's what the system teaches. All right, so now we're going to trail off. Let's look at, hang on, let me look at Urban Dictionary. Urban Dictionary. What? Ego death. A complete loss of ego and self-worth. Okay, I don't think... An experience in which you lose your sense of self by cultivating a deep sense of awareness. Yeah. But you don't lose your sense of self. You integrate all of those parts of you, right? It's less about losing yourself and more about integrating all of those aspects. Let me say... No, I'm kidding. Book. All right. Is ego death healthy? Ego deaths can lead to a deep sense of self-awareness, spiritual awakening, or personal growth. I mean, it does all of those things. As individuals confront and transcend their usual ego-driven perspectives and attachments, questioning everything they have been taught to believe. Okay, so that's the process of shadow work. That's the process of decolonizing. That's the process of unlearning and relearning. And also, ego will tell you that you are the shit, when most of the time you have a lot of things you can work on, all right? I mean, sure, you can be the shit, right? We all can be. But let's talk about what it means to respect other people and find... I watched Good Girls, so every time I hear siren, I think I'm in trouble. I am not doing anything from that show. I just am so sensitive. Ego death. Ego will tell you that you're the shit, that your shit don't stink, right? That you... don't need to change, that you're your way the highway, right? No. I mean, yeah, that's what the ego will do. But an ego death is all about, maybe I'm not right here. Maybe, it's understanding that you yourself have flaws as well. And it's accepting those flaws, right? Forget Freud. That's why I wanted to look it up, because I don't agree with that at all. But like I said, the system itself does really use Freudian logic in theory, especially psychology and psychiatry. So again, if you are in the mental health system and you've been diagnosed or you're being treated for something that you know damn well is not something that is, pertaining to you, it could force you into having an ego death. But there's a very fine line here, and I want to make sure we disclaimer this, because I don't know who you are. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what doctors you're seeing and shit. What I do know is that the theory in which we are all diagnosed and put through the systems, right, both medically and within mental health system, is very flawed, okay? However, that doesn't change the fact that sometimes people need those systems, right? Regardless of whether or not it's Freud. What a funny Freudian slip. Flawed. Oh, that was a really funny Freudian slip. I feel like I'm channeling. Anyway, some of the ways that you will know that you are experiencing ego death is that you become more compassionate. You become more curious, less judgmental for yourself and for others, right? You become more empathetic rather than apathetic, quite frankly. You become more excited to learn new stuff. You become angry that you were indoctrinated into this system. Okay, anger is super valid within an ego death. That means you're doing it right. You may even have some, so much anger that it's rage. I'll share this story again. One of my ego deaths began when I was 27, and I learned about how the presidents were slave owners, right? The ones who signed the Declaration and the ones who are on the currency and shit, and it blew my fucking mind. And I was like, no fucking way. And I just felt, it reminded me of that feeling when I found out that Santa wasn't real, which is why we don't do Santa in this house. Because that betrayal, that first betrayal from your parents is like shocking, right? And these are, I want to just insert this quick before I finish my thought. These are the moments in which our ego gets out of whack, is when we are betrayed, when we are, when we trust people and they betray us. That makes our ego be like, you know what, I never needed you, I could have done that, I would never do that to you, blah blah blah, all of that shit, right? Whatever the situation, romantic, family. So anyway, I remember that feeling when I learned about the presidents being slave owners and them being on the currency, and that was like the beginning parts of my awakening journey in the sense of systemic shit, right? Which really started my decolonizing journey. And I felt so betrayed. I felt so betrayed and lied to by all the people in my life up until that point, because I was like, this is on our money, and that was when I started to understand how capitalism works, and I was like, what? So I just want to put this here too, because it's like, no matter where you're at, no matter what individual struggle you yourself experience because of the system, ego deaths are really important to allowing your body and your mind to make room for new information, right? I think of white supremacists when I talk about ego, because it's such a good case study. It's so easy to see white supremacists working from a place of ego. However, that ego is often driven by really, really deep-seated both ancestral, why am I missing a word here? Patterns? That's not the right word. Hate is taught, right? Hate is not something that we have inherent to us. It's something that we're taught, right? And so when people are taught on a foundation of hate, their egos are incredibly inflated, right? When they're taught on a foundation of you're better than this person because of ABC, skin, religion, class, whatever it is, right? Ability. And that's another thing. I think that this conversation is all encompassing, and that's why I wanted to put it here, because ego death, you can look at any sort of imbalance within society and within people and recognize what is going on. Like when you start to understand your own psychology, and when you start to understand the way that you work, the why exactly, right? Like why do I do this? Well, once you do that work for yourself, then you're going to be able to look at others and be like, oh, that makes sense why they do that, right? That doesn't mean you swoop in and tell them that, everyone has their own journey. It's none of your business, quite frankly. But anyway, I think that ego deaths are really a great way to, again, make room for new information. Sorry, there's a dinosaur on my light. Can you move out of my light? Mr. Hoodie. Oh, be such a grumpy butt. You're putting me in the dark. You can't lay on my ring light. That's excessive. Come on back down here. You need to be seen today, huh? Mr. Hootie needs to be seen. Let me look you up. Hootie is named after an Egyptian god. I don't remember which one. Hang on. So anyway, ego deaths can be painful, but just recognize that no matter where you're operating in a place of ego, again, it's mostly because you were probably you were hurt, you were betrayed, and it made you start working from a different place, right? The messenger and leaders of the gods in ancient Kemet. Oh, you're the messenger and leader of the gods? Wow, buddy, I didn't know you had so much power. Mr. Tahuti. Hootie. Well, that makes sense, because he's the elder of our cats. Big whore for tuna. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about how it can feel. It can be, bless you, it can feel like physically painful. I'm gonna run out of time because I was running my mouth. It can feel physically painful. It can cause psychosis. It can be a very scary thing. Or if you do approach it in an intentional and awareness, right, of like, I want to release these things because I know that they're holding me back, or I know that these were truths that these people gave to me that are not true, and I don't want my foundation to be that, right? That's all what it is. It's cycle breaking. It's doing things differently because you want to, because you understand that the way that we've all existed is not conducive to, it's not conducive or sustainable for anyone who appreciates any sort of life. Plant life, animal life, human life, alien life, whatever. Differences in people. God damn, that's a lot of fucking fur. Why won't it? I don't like that. Get off of my hand. One of my big icks as an autism folk is hair on my hands. Anyway, I hope this helps. I think that ego deaths can serve as a vehicle for more self-awareness. They can serve as a just starting point for all of these other things we talked about. Acknowledging when you're in the wrong. Acknowledging when you're in the wrong and when you might not have the information is a huge step, right? Don't conduct yourself the way that the boomer generation does. My way or the highway. No. When presented with new information that challenges your already held beliefs, welcome that with open arms and be like, oh, I didn't know this. And also alleviate yourself from needing to have had that knowledge. And that's going to also serve your ego death as well. Is like, yeah, you can blame others, or you can just be like, this was systemic. We were all taught this. I didn't know because I wasn't supposed to know. And you can recognize that. And then once you do, you're going to be like, what else is the system telling me that's not correct, that's keeping me blinded, right? This is how you wake up your third eye. You have to have ego deaths to awaken your third eye, to be able to see how things really do work together, and how the system has kept us in these cycles for control, right? And with a big inflated ego, you are using that same momentum within your vessel to do to others what the system has done to you. Okay, I'm gonna run out of time. I hope this was helpful. Don't look up Freud. That's not going to be helpful. We already did that. We decided that wasn't for us. Okay. Have a good day. I'll see you later.